Hello, I'm Gus Downing, publisher and editor of the D&D Daily, and this is the Loss Prevention News Network.
We're here today with Joan Manson, Vice President of Loss Prevention, Benefits, Payroll, and Legal for the Container Store, and Chair of the NRF's Loss Prevention Caucus, Chair of the NRF Women and Loss Prevention Caucus Committee. Say that 5 times fast. For the last number of years, Joan led the Women and LP Caucus Committee that has truly grown and made a significant impact on the entire industry. The concept originated in 2003 and was further developed over time. There have been greatly talented contributors that established the caucus mission and goals. Here's the mission. The caucus is a forum that encourages women to network and learn from each other. Their purpose is to provide opportunity for empowerment through shared learning and mentoring, and to support women reaching their career goals. This mission has been established and continues to be the guiding light for the caucus. Joan, thanks for being here, taking the time with us today, and we have a few questions for you.
My pleasure, Joe. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity for the caucus. We're thrilled.
So, Joan, I have a little unfair bias because I was on the council when the caucus was created, and let me just say that you have done a fabulous job leading this caucus and the commitment to the overall council. It's a very important initiative, and it's one of those committees that gives power engagement from around the industry. How did this all start, in your words and your thoughts, and where do we go?
Well, it actually did start with an incredible amount of support of the Loss Prevention Advisory Council and Lori Sorensen back in the day, and she led the charge. She brought it up at one of our annual council meetings, and it was unanimous. This is the right thing to do. We need to support the women in this career field. We need to grow and develop, have much larger presence of women in loss prevention, and that's where we started. And the first meeting we ever had was a breakfast at the NRF Loss Prevention Conference, which it was a jam-packed room. I think there was well over 100 women. First time for us all to be together, and it's been going so strongly ever since.
Joan, I know you've been a hardcore contributor at the conference, within the committees, and the caucus has provided, as you mentioned, so much benefit to women in the industry, bringing them in, also engaging them, the breakfasts and the phone calls. Some of the history on how people get engaged with the caucus, what in your mind attracts people into the caucus and then keeps them really engaged to stay with it?
Well, I think the mission statement really was one of the best things we ever initiated. And that was, with the assistance of Megan Curtis with Disney, helping us find that true voice. This is what our purpose is, this is what we want to do, and we have lived to it. Every meeting, every quarterly conference call on professional development, our quarterly calls were not intended to be just for loss prevention. It's professional development to get the women to those higher level positions within our organizations, as well as the annual meetings. That's our networking opportunity, as well as sharing, emails and just feeling like you have the comfort level to call and reach out to someone, because we all are here to support each other. It's that sense of truly the empowerment that it's safe and secure to reach out to somebody else within the caucus. We're here to help you in any way we can.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, is there a breakfast here at the conference this year?
Oh my gosh, we had a great breakfast this morning.
It's really exciting. I just know from past years, walking into some of them, every table is full, fabulous networking opportunity. And
there are.
you have guest speakers and you have conference calls with guest speakers on them. Give me an idea about what are some of the hot topics and who are some of the people that stand out in your mind that have really contributed to the group and provided that intellectual benefit?
Well, Denise Wynn. Everybody go out and meet Denise Wynn with TJ Maxx. This woman is phenomenal. She finds us the best, the very, very best professional speakers for free. I have to say, for free. And they love to speak to our group. So on our quarterly calls, we can have up to 100 people or more on the call. And men and women are welcome to join our calls. There was one last fall about your, the leadership presence. How do you get that executive presence? When you come into a room, are you like hunched over? Are you, what's your poise like? When you're speaking with the group, how confident are you? What's that presence? What's that executive presence? So we get these very helpful tips just like that. Or in February, we had an incredible call. Hope you were on it. It was about managing your email.
Oh, nice.
Okay, who doesn't have 1,000 emails in there? Me too. An incredible speaker, and we had well over 100 people on that call. So we like to have really relevant topics. Denise finds those for us, whether it be that professional development or just to help us in our day-to-day, ensure we have that right balance. And then most recently, we had one on cybercrime, which is a little bit, that's more on the loss prevention side, but we knew it was so relevant for this time.
Right.
So Denise is phenomenal.
That's great.
Everyone should meet her.
So everybody, you have to run out. You have to meet Denise at TJ Maxx. What a great shout out. Now, Joan, I've heard a lot of buzz about this new mentor program, the mentor program that the caucus has been brewing in the back room. What's that all about?
Well, it's been brewing a long time. So we had a mentoring program when we first launched, which was incredibly successful. So it was Rosa Maria Cecilio with Sachs and her team helped put it together. Immediately we had probably 50 mentors and about 80 mentees looking for someone to pair up with. That was incredible for the several years. And now we took a step back, decided, this was for the Women's Caucus, but now it's time to embrace, bring the men in, have the leadership from the Loss Prevention Advisory Council all participate. So Chad McIntosh, the VP at Bloomingdale's, has very graciously and generously put a lot of time and effort into developing our new program that we are in coordination with the NRF right now to really set out that right enrollment. How you become the mentor, how do we get your bio? So we can do it hopefully on the new website, which we're very anxious about. Then we'll work on the pairings to make certain the mentee, what their needs are, what they're looking for, and we'll do our very best job to get them matched up to the right mentor. And then we'll gauge it. The best successes that we've seen are when we know and we have a very deliberate timing, follow-up, monthly calls with mentees, monthly calls with mentors, and then make certain they're having their calls. Or maybe they're paired up in the right area and they can meet face-to-face.
That's great.
It's going to be outstanding.
So that's a fantastic shout out to Rosa Maria at Sachs and Chad McIntosh at Bloomingdale's.
That's right.
And I think the mentor program is extremely important. And what do people come to the mentor program to achieve? What are their goals?
Wouldn't it be nice to have someone that's not your boss that you can go to and maybe rehearse that conversation you want to have with your boss, or get their guidance on something maybe you're a little intimidated about? I don't want to go ask my boss this or someone else in my organization. Let me just have this safe sounding board. That's what a great mentor is, as well as they can share their life experience with the mentee. We've all been there. I got to tell you, when we launched this initially, I felt like that was my opportunity. It was my opportunity to give back to this community that I wouldn't have had such a successful career without one. So all of us should feel that type of obligation. There's so many young people. Look at this conference audience. Right. They need us, and this is a great opportunity to do that.
That's great. It contributes so much to the individual, and so I think what you're saying is that everybody comes for a different reason. Some are bouncing ideas, others are looking for maybe some technical expertise, or that you said it safe zone. I think that's really important. So the caucus has been established for many years, and since you're on the advisory council, I'm going to cheat just a little bit and say the caucus has contributed a lot to other committees and has an influence over the entire council. Everybody's getting involved. What do you see next? And you're pie in the sky. It's the website's coming. It's automating making all the trains run on time and keeping it all together. Where are you going next? What's in Joan Manson's dream world? Where is it going?
Oh gosh, my dream world?
Dream
well,
world.
okay.
I love dreaming. So what's the dream world?
You might not
say?
want to ask me this question.
I do. Of course I do. Come on.
How about we just do a role reversal?
Okay.
We have more women here than men. No.
Okay.
I'll be happy when it's 50-50. I'll be tickled pink when it's 50-50.
Okay, so that brings up a very good point. I know there's been some research done on this topic, and hopefully you know those numbers. I think I've got them in the back of my head. You had mentioned that the caucus has brought more women into the industry and has had an influence over their engagement and how they participate. Have we seen progress in that area? Are there some statistics that any universities have done or measurable numbers?
I wish we did have some really good studies on that, but I don't think we have that accurate assessment at this point in time. I can tell you from history that I know we've got more women, we have much more participation. The directors and VPs of loss prevention or asset protection, look around. I mean, there's more women at the table now. That's pretty exciting.
That's exciting.
And then when you see all the people here, you know, there's definitely more women, which is, this kind of makes you beaming proud that you see that.
That's right.
I think there's more we can do, you know, whether it be within our business or as we're recruiting, as we're identifying who is that next person. And I think we all struggle with how do we bring people in to see that retail is a career, right? So I think it goes along the same lines with women. How do you get women to recognize that loss prevention is just an incredible career field?
That's
it has
right.
been so rewarding.
That's right. Now, you also, reading your bio and knowing your experience and expertise, you're one of those individuals that have moved up through the ranks, and in addition to LP, you have an enormous scope of responsibility with payroll and legal and benefits. How do you encourage others, men or women, but how do you encourage others to look outside the LP world and gain that additional experience, like Dan Doyle and yourself and others? How do you do that?
Well, I think you have to really, it's about you and your presence, your judgment. And when the executives in your company see that you have that ability, that they feel safe and secure with your decisions, that you can provide them that right type of guidance, that, gosh, they just trust that you're going to make those right decisions for the employees, for their company, for your customer. And if you can do that and you have interest in these other fields, those things will come. You know, it wasn't like I'm like begging and saying, raising my hand, I want
Right.
that, I want that. It would be like, Joan, what do you think about, you know, brand protection, including intellectual property? And I'm like, I'll learn all I can about it, and I'll work with the outside counsel. And as time evolves, it's like, well, what do you think about managing outside counsel? And it's like, they need it.
Right.
So yes, I'll do it.
That's awesome.
And same thing with payroll and benefits. Benefits is negotiations, right?
Right.
Just like when you're buying your casualty insurance, there's not much difference with the healthcare insurance either. So you just need to understand it and make certain you're really well versed on it as best you can. And if you don't know it, go find the partners, which I have through the advisory council and others at the NRF conference that I meet. Just call them. We're all eager to help.
Yeah. And I think that's, you bring up a really valuable point about these partnerships within our company. So in your case, you have multiple departments and they all interact with each other, and other retailers, they might work separately. Here at the conference, you learn a lot about how to work with other people, how to work within the company and leverage the success. And the caucus has really done a lot of great work around that topic. And I know we need to end it soon, but if you were to leave the audience with maybe a highlight of where, you know, how do you get involved? Like, what do you do? Get people charging forward. Your thought.
You just have to do it.
Get it
okay?
done, right? Just
you
do
know,
it.
You have to be your own advocate at some times. So if you're interested in getting involved with whether it's the caucus or the advisory council or in sessions within the NRF, you know, that is when you need to raise your hand and express that you have interest, and we will bring you in. If you're interested in the caucus, please reach out to the NRF, Afia. She's phenomenal, or Ron, or myself, Chad, Denise. If you're interested in the caucus, we will get you signed up so that you hear about our calls, so that you can participate and join us for our breakfast, you know, or just reach out to us whenever you need us.
It's awesome. Joan, Vice President of Loss Prevention, Payroll, Benefits, Legal. She's the chair of the Loss Prevention Women in Loss Prevention Advisory Committee Caucus.
I am the chairperson of the Women in Loss Prevention Caucus.
And she is on the NRF Advisory Council. I can tell you from personal experience, she has a deep commitment to the industry. She always gets involved. She lives by what she just told you. Just do it. Get involved. Speak out. Be yourself. Seek out other people. Joan, thank you so much for being here today and spending time, and have a great conference.
Thank you, Joe.